Hello everyone. Today we're looking at email communications and we are going to continue our example of this example provisional patent called a new clothesline. So this is the matter screen, and if you look at the menu option you will see that there is an option to send emails. There's also the option to send SMS messages, and we'll talk more about that later. So if we click on the email link, you will see this is an email composition window, and this is where you can type messages and for emailing to clients. So here is the body field. We have a subject field, and you can input recipients. So the recipient field will accept any valid email address. So if I include sam@example.com, it should recognize it, and you can then send the email accordingly. Initially, you will see that you can send emails from templates. In this case, we don't have any email templates, and we'll talk more about that later. So this is just essentially a bare bones email interface that you will see initially before you have configured your system. You will notice at the bottom that we have a ChatGTP prompt. So we can say send an update to the client. And if I just remove this text and then hit generate, you will see that ChatGTP is context aware, so it has access to your various data fields so that it can respond and generate emails in an intelligent manner. If you don't wish these data fields to be sent to ChatGTP, you can configure these in your settings. Now, initially, you can download emails. This is if you haven't configured your own email server, and this will download it as an EML file, which you can then use your own desktop email software to send, such as Outlook. So if I click on download, it'll compose the email, and that will become accessible as an EML file. And if I open that up, you will see that the email is all encapsulated, and I can then send it using my desktop software. So let's take a look at email templates. So to do that, we will go through to the provisional patent field and move down to this menu link on the left, which says email templates. Now you can create as many email templates as you like. Click in this button, and here we have a new email template, which I've disabled and which I will now enable to use in this example. So, for example, in this email template, we can include a name. This is just a friendly name. So in this example, we can include the name report filing. And this is the email that we will send to the client when reporting the filing of their application in this example. And you will see that we have the option of sending an email or an SMS. And we'll talk about SMSs later. You can add default contacts. So if you always want it sent to the client, you can do so, and for example, you could send a CC to the attorney, and those will automatically be sent to the assigned roles. The email subject is pretty self-explanatory, and in the body field, you can include the text message. Okay, so that's the general structure of an email, and at the bottom, you'll see that there is an option to include default documents. So these are documents that are generated from document templates, and we will talk about document templates in another email. So these will be generated on the fly, and you can also add invoices that are added on the fly. This is just a quick way to quickly generate and attach matter-specific documents, which can be converted to PDF format. So email templates are generated according to variables, and these can be accessed in the following pop-up field. So you can see there are various fields. We have the matter field, we have the matter name, and we have various data fields. If you scroll down, you will also see that we have various roles. So using these variables, you can include any data field or any role field. So what I would like to do is compose an email to the client. So I'll just basically search, and here are the client display name. I want the client first name. So I'll click on that and say copy to clipboard. So here I can say, dear, and then I'll paste in the field. And as you can see, these variables assume a particular format. So it starts with a $, and then in curly braces is the description. So these will be replaced with the applicable data field at the time of email generation. And in the body text, I can say your application number is, and let's look for the application number. There it is. And the filing date is, and let's search for that. And there we go. There's the bare bones of an email template. In the subject line, I'd like to include the matter number. In the matter number, I prefer to include the prefix MID, and that is basically used for automatically archiving emails, as we will describe in another video. And here I will just include the matter ID. I'll copy that to the clipboard. So there we go. We have a first email template for reporting filing. So if we go back to the example matter, and we will see that we have all our data fields correct and populated. So if we now go to send an email and I select an email template, in this case the report filing email template, you will see that it automatically populates with the various data fields. If I go back to the email templates and click on the actual template, you will see that we can include rich text formats, so we can highlight certain fonts. And if you want more control, you can click through to this code view. And for example, we can separate out various paragraphs, and we can make this a header in a header 6, for example. So this is just basically standardized HTML. When sending emails, it is possible to include default signatures. So if I go to our workspace and then click on email configuration, you can see that there is the possibility to include an email signature. So you can include yours sincerely and my name. And in this case, I will include a default image as a signature, which I copied off the internet, which you can see here. And this is an example of a signature, James Smith. So in this case, I will actually just have an image signature. And let's update that. So if I go back to the matter and I compose an email, you'll see that the signature always appears, and that is appearing for email templates also. So as I've mentioned, you can download these emails in email format, and which you can use any desktop software to send emails. And this is a great option if you don't wish to configure an email server. However, to make the process more streamlined, you may wish to use your own email server. So what we will actually do is go back to our workspace configuration, and I click on the name of the workspace, and in the email configuration, you'll see that there is an option to send outgoing emails. So in this example, you would include the usual data fields to authenticate with your standard email server. So for example, if you're using Outlook or Office 365, you would include smtp.office365.com as your server, input the port, username, and passwords, and using this test connection button, you can test the connection. And in the name and email address field, these will be used for the sender identity when you send an email. Now, what you'll notice if we go back to the matter screen is when you compose an email, you now have the option to send the email. So as opposed to just downloading the email, you can now send the email using your configured SMTP server. So let's just do that as an example. So I'm going to select the report filing template. And you will have noticed that the template would have specified that it is to be sent to the client. So it's automatically filled in the details for Peter Smith. And you will notice that with this drop-down, you can include any contact which is currently assigned to this matter. You will also note that you can add documents which are generated on the fly. So here we can include a document which is generated from a Word version document template, and that can be automatically populated with your data fields and converted to a PDF file. We can also include files. So these files can be connected through your Dropbox system, for example. So this is a great way for accessing files that are on your desktop, for example, and we can also include invoices. So these options are a great way to quickly add various documents, files, or invoices on the fly. So what we would do is then send an email, and you will see that the email is currently sending, and once the email is sent, you will receive this confirmation that the email has been sent directly using your own SMTP server. Now what you will notice is that when you send emails, they automatically appear in your emails data panel. So let's jump back to the email configuration screen in our workflow. You'll see that there's an option for email saving. So basically email saving will automatically archive sent and received emails as EML files to your system folder. So basically we would connect a file system provider such as Dropbox, and then every time an email is received or sent, it'll be saved as an EML file directly to your computer. And this is a great way of archiving your various emails. All right, so let's jump into SMS sending. As I've mentioned, SMS sending is a great way to send SMS messages to clients. Now, the way this is configured is that you can use your own SMS service provider, so you're not locked into any particular provider or costs. And the SMS provider would be an email to SMS provider. So in this example, there's a great company called ClickSend, and if you send an email prefixed with the mobile number for the client to this email address, it will be sent as an SMS. So for example, here is an example of a client with the following mobile number, and the system will send an email message to this email address, which will then be converted by ClickSend into an SMS message and transmitted. Again, you can include SMS signatures. And here I'll just include an example, and let me update that. So if we go back to the Matter screen, we will see Peter doesn't have a mobile number, so let's make one up. Now if I refresh the screen, now if I send an email, I can switch to an SMS, or I can just send an SMS directly from here. And the message will be sent to Peter Smith, and that'll be his number, and it's as simple as sending that, which will be sent as an SMS message instead. Now, email templates can be used to create emails directly from the Matter screen, but also can be used for sending emails generated by automations. So if I go back to the provisional patent, you'll see that I have an automation here. So the expiry date reminder. So in the previous matter, we set a reminder to remind the attorney 7 days before the expiry date. And in that case, we generated an ad hoc email. Alternatively, you can include emails generated from these templates. All right, so in this example, we looked at sending emails and SMSs, and we looked at how you can generate emails as EML files, which you can send using your own desktop email client, or alternatively, if you're happy to get under the hood, you can use your own SMTP server to send emails directly from the system. We've also seen how you can generate email templates, and that those email templates can include variables relating to any data field or role which you can include in your email communications. So that's that for this tutorial, and in the next tutorial we'll be looking at document templates.